Hello and welcome to this short video training module on how to be highly creative and innovative as a business manager. Being creative is sometimes underappreciated in business management, but what's not is outsized results and high performance. And by being creative, you can usually get to an end result faster in a unique way that can be better for your customers, better for your team, and better for yourself. So the first idea here that I learned actually while at Harvard University studying best practices of creativity was that most creative ideas, or lots of them, come from looking at disparate ideas like how a produce company is ran and how a fast-moving consumer business is ran, like Procter & Gamble's business, maybe how they sell toothpaste versus how produce is sold, and then you try to use that in how maybe your business is ran, like maybe in the auto industry, you're a business manager. You try to combine all those things, you come up with something that's really unique because most people don't spend the time to study how produce businesses are ran versus a fast-moving consumer good and how that can be integrated in how the auto industry works in business management. So this can be used in many different ways. Reading books in different industries can be helpful, reading articles about how other businesses are ran, reading things about how other cultures operate, reading things about how things work in other parts of the world. These are all can be unique exposures that give you an overall understanding that's greater, and you can see the many different pieces that are out there, and your mind can kind of put those together into a puzzle and a solution that might work really well for your business or your product or service line. And I think that can be really valuable. Another tip is to remember that sometimes you don't need to be creative at the beginning. First, as Ken Wilber, a famous philosopher, often refers to the stages of development that go within how you think, how you evolve, how you mature as a human. And you start at pre-conventional, then you go to conventional, and then post-conventional. So oftentimes, for example, when you get started in your business career, you might be in the pre-conventional stage. You might still be learning about how business is done, what are the right and wrong things to do, what are your responsibilities, how things work, what's expected. That's pre-conventional. Then within the conventional realm, you might blend in with the crowd, you do a pretty good job, you know what's expected, you show up on time, you dress appropriately, you know your responsibilities, you get your work done. You're conventional. Post-conventional would be then you're coming up with ways to document business processes that make them more efficient. You're coming up with ways to shortcut processes that are not so redundant. You're finding ways to work with new product and service lines over the internet that have been ignored within your industry or your niche until now. That's post-conventional. But oftentimes it's really hard to be post-conventional, creative and meaningful ways unless you've gone through the pre-conventional and conventional stages. Otherwise you could have really creative ideas that either nobody cares about, that aren't relevant, nobody wants to buy, or that no one's going to listen to. So that's another important thing to remember, is that there's no huge pressure to be creative right now. You might want to expose yourself to things that can make you more creative and innovative, but it might come after getting past the conventional stage in your development. Another tip is that the more training you get, the more creative and innovative you will be. Training is where you can gain a ton of best practices from somebody like myself, who's gone to tons of conferences, read a ton of books, and they're filtering all those ideas down into what they see as the most valuable. If you go to enough training seminars through enough people, you'll find a few that consistently give you a ton of value and motivation by going, and all those unique ideas combined will give you a really highly refined opinion about what works in business, what doesn't work in business, what trends are affecting business, where business is going, and how you can position your business to benefit from all of that. Another tip is to break down everything into processes. Document the 5 to 10 major processes within your business, how a new customer or client comes on board, how you roll out a new product or service line, how you hire and fire people within your business, how you handle refunds. And by just seeing it documented in a process map type form or process flow or checklist, you'll be able to see connections, efficiencies that won't be visible to other people. I've had the experience as a consultant of drawing out process maps for multi-billion-dollar corporations and seeing how all their business units work and how money flows through the organization and how communication flows through the organization in between different business departments. And by doing that, it's pretty amazing that you can get a better high-level view of how information and financials are flowing through the organization than even the CEO, who's been in place for 5 or 10 years in a company, has. So you can gain a better understanding than someone that's been there for 10 years by mapping this all out at least on a very high level. So this is very useful if you're a business manager, and it can help you be creative in ways that will become obvious once things are mapped out. You don't have to be a genius or an innovator. You just have to do the hard work of mapping out these processes. Another tip is just to take massive action and get a ton of feedback. So something that I always recommend in business is if you learn something, put it in place as quickly as possible. If you have an idea, test it on a customer. If you have a product, beta launch it, get feedback, and then launch it bigger. Taking a lot of massive action all of the time is going to make you look like you're very creative and innovative, when really you're learning as fast as everyone else per implementation, but you're implementing faster. When you launch a product, maybe everybody else gets the same amount of feedback and quality of feedback, but if you launch 10 different types of products in a year and then stick with the 2 that work, or just emphasize those 2 that really work, then you're going to be able to move that much faster, where if you took 10 months to plan and then launched 1 product, hopefully it would work because of all that planning, but maybe it'll bomb, and that real market feedback means you're going to have to spend another few months rejiggering it. You could have figured that out without spending 10 months planning the launch in the first place. So that's another way to be creative, is just to speed up the iterations of your evolution of your business product, your team, or your service. So I hope you enjoy this short video on how to be a little bit more creative and innovative. It doesn't have to be some magical creative spirit that you were born with. It's really about business practices and models that you can follow so you're consistently more creative and innovative than your competitors, the other business managers within your business, or the other businesses within your business niche. So hope you enjoyed this video. Again, this is businesstraining.com, where you can earn master's level qualifications to make more money.